everybody, this is Yael from Yael Alchemy, and I've missed all of you. Okay, Merry Christmas. Well, first, Happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas. I know I missed giving out readings during that period of time. For those who didn't know, I was on vacation, and thank you for all your messages that you sent wishing me a good vacation, and also asking when I would be putting out readings. I actually got them all. My vacation was very enjoyable and fun. Actually, during Thanksgiving, there were around 30 of us in the house. They're all family and some friends. Okay, and it was a good time reconnecting, especially with my grandparents, my cousins, my aunts and uncles. And they were the family that I lived with in the US when I was there for around half a decade. So that journey was very important to me. It was coming full circle, because that was the time when I was there, during my time there that I spent when I lived in the States. It was where it seemed all of life's lessons came. I had to learn them, just like a crash course. Okay, I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but it was the time when I was a victim of crime there, and coupled with betrayal from a karmic soulmate, and the passing of my first Lhasa Apso. You know how dear they are to my heart, and usually the first one, that's really the hardest. I actually got PTSD from all that, and this was a closing of that circle. So it was a very important part of my journey to close that circle. I also mentioned before that my immediate family is part of the very challenging ancestral karmic lineage. Well, no, the karma of the ancestral lineage that I have, that is part of my mission, why I incarnated here on Earth. And actually, my extended family in the States, they're the ones that are helping me support that mission. It is with them that I feel the most loved and accepted. And well, going back there, of course, with my immediate family members, it was, you could see the contrast, the difference of how it is with them and how it is with the others. And hopefully this is like a training course, so to speak, for members of my immediate family. You still haven't gotten it yet. Some of them still remain to be challenging, but I hope, yeah, some of them are even questioning when I was gently trying to point them to the truth of how they could change and transmute, because they were telling me you help a lot of other people. Why not her? Or I always offer, but then again, there is some life's lessons they have to go through by themselves, because the answers can't be spoon-fed. Okay, so anyway, I did enjoy my vacation, but the last couple of days, okay, another challenging family member reared up its not its her head. And that was also another thing that I had to surpass. Okay, but so all these things, when I got back, I came back to a very disappointing situation here at home, because the people I had trusted to take care of my dogs and the house and all that, they actually didn't do anything during the time that I was away, so I had to sort that domestic situation out. Plus, I had terrible jet lag. I didn't know that for every time zone you cross, that's like 1 day of jet lag. So, and I crossed around 8 time zones, and I had jet lag for a good, 5 to 6 days before I really switched back. I couldn't really do readings or healings. I could just do them one at a time because I didn't want to do them while I was foggy. And so, but now I'm pretty much adjusted, so that's why we're here. Okay, plus I did get a sign from the universe yesterday. Yesterday was Christmas Day here, and because I had been meaning to put out a video for this week. And yesterday, Christmas, while we were going out of the house, there was a red balloon inside the house that nobody knew where it came from. And so my dad picked it up, and I said, oh, that's a sign. I went like that. But I didn't know what it was a sign for. All that I could associate it was with Schindler's List. But my mind was probably playing tricks on me because the red there was to highlight the child in that movie. But anyway, that's what I searched for when I was trying to look up for the meaning. And because I had typed in Schindler's List, it brought me to another movie that was very, it's called The Red Balloon, and it's a movie from 1956. It was a celebrated movie. And actually, there was this, it's about this little boy who comes across this red balloon and befriends it. The balloon is very playful. He has a relationship with it, and no, he didn't date it, okay? He became friends with it. He was a young boy. Took him everywhere, took the balloon everywhere, and then, but this incurred the jealousy and the envy of all his schoolmates and other friends. So eventually they tried to grab the balloon from him. They stomp it out until it's deflated, and of course this saddens the little boy. But then, because he's connected with that balloon, by the end of the movie, so many other balloons find its way to him, okay? And that was a sign for me that I needed to reconnect, because I was having a Jon Snow moment. Okay, we're in, I don't know if you watch Game of Thrones, but it's like, no, I'm not this and that. I'm a bastard. That's all I am. I'm a bastard. And that's how the challenging members of my family were making me feel. And I couldn't really put out or do healings in that kind of energy. So I had to sort that out. Anyway, this is quite a long, you have to bear with me, that's a long intro, but I wanted an update. This is catching up for almost a month, not getting in touch with you. So anyway, I do have new cards here, and also new crystals to help me. So let's get on with the reading. This is a reading for the Twin Flame weekly energies for the week of December 25 to the 31st. This is actually the last week this year. And of course, if you've forgotten already, this is the side of the Divine Masculine. This is the side of the Divine Feminine. Okay, so as always, we start with the Divine Masculine. The first card we have for the Divine Masculine is the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords indicates that the Divine Masculine is headed towards better times. You can see the two whales here. It's actually leading the way for the boat. In the boat, there is a man, and he's bundled up and cradled in this boat, while the whales are leading the way. And when the Six of Swords appears, because this indicates a transition to smoother, better times ahead. You can see that the sun is rising here, and it's the vista of the horizon is changing from nightfall or dusk to dawn. So this indicates better times. This is a transition from the divine masculine. And in my last readings, the divine masculine was getting ready to assume the position of being the divine masculine, having a greater understanding of it and his connection with his divine counterpart. So let's see what these cards say. Okay, so yes, see here, he's making this transition and he's going, the energy is going towards being the King of Cups. And the King of Cups here, this indicates a very mature king. You can see that the waves compose his throne. There is a golden lotus around his crown chakra, because this is a very mature king. He has mastered the Christ consciousness and is the embodiment of unconditional love, meaning that he finds his connection to all people, all things, and that connection to his divinity. He holds the Holy Grail in his cup, and which is his part of being an aspect of the divine feminine. And I'm not surprised that this card showed up, because again, in my last readings, he was the divine masculine was on his way towards accepting that aspect of the divine feminine within him in order to complete himself. Remember, there was the infinity symbol, or the lemniscate, right? And there is one inside you, inside your twin, and that has to come into balance into within each of you, because that's how you attract each other. That's how you get that frequency of calling out to each other. It's like that the whale song. You can see here these whales on his armor. Now the dolphins are there. The dolphins, they were previously land mammals. They're one of the most intelligent species that are on the planet right now, because they connect with the stars, and this is facilitating this connection towards this part, the aspect, the divine feminine aspect, being incorporated in the divine masculine. Okay. Yes. And the next card we have for the divine masculine is the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles, here you can see a couple and their children, and they're surrounded by pentacles and roses. So this indicates a great wealth, a great abundance. This is the culmination of a journey, a certain journey in the tarot, because this is a culmination of a phase and leading to a new one. And what this is saying is that in realizing his divine nature, the divine masculine also realizes how blessed he is, because this is his connection with the divine plan. If he is able to tap already into the Christ consciousness within him, then he is able to see the abundance laid out for him, not only in terms of tangible resources, but also in terms of the happiness that is already there, but he has yet to claim, if he hasn't claimed it yet. Okay, so this could symbolize many things. Either this, if you are in a relationship with your twin, this would symbolize that union in 3D. If you are still in separation, then this will symbolize what lies before upon completion of this cycle. Okay, that cycle that he just came from. Remember, he worked on that the entire year in order to make this transition to the next one. Okay, and the last card we have for the divine masculine is the Magician card. Now, the Magician card, now this is a new beginning. Remember here, like I said, this was the end of a cycle. But now he realized, because most of the divine masculines have had this situation before, but it did not bring the fulfillment, the happiness, that feeling of completion that his soul was craving for. And that was because it's like he was still under the veil of amnesia that hasn't been lifted yet. And everything was illusory. Even if they were a picture-perfect family, his life was picture-perfect. If he didn't have a family of his own, everything seemed to be in place. But there was always something lacking, which he could not tap into. But that is because there was this craving in his divine nature to connect with that aspect of himself that is really his true foundation, that connects him to his essence. And since now he has become aware of this, that this situation needs to be connected to his divinity, then he's ready to step into his shoes as a creator. Okay? Because the magician here, you can see here that he's holding his wand in one hand and the other hand, and here he's gaining power from the stars, the universe. Okay, and then he has a caduceus as his sort of a necktie there, symbolizing the balance. You can see these two warring snakes there. Well, they're yin and yang. But the thing is, when he calls his will into action, and he already knows what to create, having connected to the divine, to his spiritual self, to his most authentic self, then he can easily create. You can see here the lightning bolt is headed downwards to earth. That is the spark of inspiration. Because when this card appears, this is either an idea, it is a creative prompt. It is an urge to do something. And sometimes you don't know where that urge is coming from. But you're being called to do something. Okay? And here, you can see here, this is an inverted triangle. If you see here, the magician represents a triangle, the upright triangle, and his table, wherein he has all the elements of the suit, the cups, swords, wands, pentacles. If all of this is in balance, then he is able to create, and even with such speed. Okay, I'm not going to pick clarifying cards because these cards are good, and yes, they're pretty clear. Okay, and the energy of the divine masculine right now is number 47. I was guided to use the I forgot what you call these cards, the galactic heritage cards. Yeah, and here's the Lemurian era, which is it is an era of the Earth's past. Okay, a time wherein during this Lemurian era, they were just coming out of that era of the masculine era and stepping into a more feminine era wherein it was more gentle. So they're coming from a place of the untransmuted divine masculine energies. Okay, and then transforming, incorporating these feminine energies within them in order to balance out the harsh masculine energy during that time in our history. Okay, so here, that's why we have he's connecting right now. This is the energy. Integration is the word that comes to mind right now. Okay, because he's integrating now his Christed self and moving, see, moving into more of that. so that he can create this. But when we say this situation, it is a situation that brings much more fulfillment because it will be connected to his divinity. It's not just something physical alone. There is much more significance and a deeper foundation for this situation that he wants to create. And it is a 10. And after the 10, we start that cycle again. And this is the cycle. This is the beginning of the cycle for the divine masculine. Okay. Oh, you know what? I forgot to read the cards at the bottom of the deck, which we'll do now because there's a connection with this. Here, cards at the bottom of the deck, okay, which are general energies of the reading. And we have here the Hanged One. And you can see here an inverted person and a purple lotus flower there. And you can see here the spiral of the energies, the divine cosmic energies going down through all the chakras and finally being received in this inverted triangle, which is more receptive, symbolizing the divine feminine principle. So that is it, and that's why this is the Hanged One, because both are undergoing transition. You know what, when we say that a phase is over and that must have culminated in the winter solstice, and I'm sure all of you, because I was kind of worried that some of you might not be able to partake of celebrations or activations during the winter solstice, but then again, I'm sure there are a lot of other light workers and healers that you'll listen to that have sort of picked up the slack because I wasn't able to connect with you during that time. Okay, so anyway, see here this person hanged upside down, seeing things from a different perspective, but ensconced in that cosmic womb. Okay, so this is gestation, integration, wrapping up the end of a cycle in terms of the divine masculine, okay, but also the divine feminine. So we'll see what's in store for her, but this is gestation. And usually when a cycle ends and we say that a new one is beginning, there is a period there that is not often spoken about, but that's the transition. And well, because now it's a digital age, it's like it's not as fast as, you know, you changing the channel, watching something else, going to another tab on your browser. This transition, it takes time because things have to fall into place energetically in order to move from one phase to the other. And now that Gaia has been grounded into her 5D consciousness grid, okay, this is helping other people get in touch with their 5D selves, or that consciousness at the very least. But that is, you know, shuffling things up because you're transitioning. And so things may be in flux, things may be challenging, okay? For it's not all, oh, this end of the cycle, because it is a continuous cycle. That's the constant. It will never change. It will change constantly, but the cycle will never change. So we must get in touch with that rhythm, which is reflected in nature, really. Push and pull. The coming in of the waves, the tides, it's really like that. But here, this is the flux right now, because we're still in transition phase. And here we have the Queen of Swords, and you can see here all these butterflies in her skirt. Her skirt is colored yellow, meaning being more comfortable with who you are, how you define yourself as a divine feminine, as a light worker, as a star seed. Even on her breastplate, you can see the big butterfly. It's a butterfly of transformation that signifies transformation. She holds in her hand the unicorn, a unicorn sword. This is a sword that represents truth and integrity. And I did mention on my Facebook page, yes, for those who are listening, I do have a Facebook page. Please do visit and like. I usually send updates there. I do have an activation for those who have been challenged by the holidays, which I will speak on more later. But you can see here, because she's more sure of herself, who she is, her crown is, it's like a geyser of stars. It's spouting out, it's receiving, and it's giving. And she comes from a place wherein divine intelligence is being processed into action. Because the Queen of Swords, she doesn't dilly-dally. She's very clear. She has a strong sense of discernment. But her discernment right now has the backing of divine intelligence and guidance. Okay? And even her twin. You can see the two swans here. Swans mate for life. Her twin is there. And this is, it's like the wind beneath her wings. They form as her wings. And a lot of the twins are also angelics and find support in their twin in whatever mission they're doing right now, with or without their divine counterpart. And you see here, here we have the Eight of Wands, which means that a lot of opportunities are coming in hard and fast. We have a mandala here with the heart at the center, and the inspiration from the universe is coming here. Lightning bolts, 4 lightning bolts, striking at the heart chakra. And when you create from the heart, the creations of the heart are symbolized by the 8 shooting stars. It's coming from the heart, bringing hope, inspiration. And so this is a time, because you're very sure of yourself already and where you're coming from. Okay, that these opportunities that are being offered to you right now will come in hard and fast. But there has some processing to be done, because number one, you have to recognize these opportunities. And then once they are recognized, then that's why the heart, and you create from the heart. Whether you communicate, you create from the heart. There are all these shooting stars. You amplify that energy to others. Okay, and the last card that we have here is the Three of Wands. And the Three of Wands, you can see here, these two wands represent body and mind. Okay, they create this third wand, which is bigger than whatever they have imagined. Okay, and this is the wand of spirit. You see, and what this is saying is that when you invite spirit in your life and divine guidance, and you align yourself to the divine path that has been laid out for you, okay, you create something greater than whatever you imagined. So that is it. There's a lot of tremendous opportunity coming. But right now, especially the last week here, we are in transition phase, but getting ready for all this, coming in hard and fast, bringing in, incorporating that third energy into your life. Okay, so now for the Divine Feminine, the first card we have for her is the Hierophant. Usually when you can see the Hierophant, at least how it's depicted in this card, it is a marriage of traditional and non-traditional religion or practices, and we've all had to deal with this, especially with the holidays. And usually when this card appears, it is indicative that some guidance is needed, because there's a feeling of being lost and confused. You can see there is this maze here. But this maze, it's like a lot of the divine feminines have entered this maze, at least during the holidays. And there's this feeling of, excuse me, either losing touch, losing connections, because a lot have been thoroughly infused in situations that are 3D, mostly because it's expected in this season to get together, to join each other, and that's good, because you get in touch with people that you haven't seen in a while. But all this contact with 3D, sometimes some of you have felt disconnected or even lost and confused during this time, and that's why there is a search for this guidance, for getting in touch. It's like you have to find your way out of this maze with the help of spirit. And you can see here this she's a medicine woman. One eye is blue and one eye is brown. I don't know if you can see that there. But again, that represents traditional and non-traditional. You can see the bull here representing the masculine side, the bear representing the feminine side. As a breastplate of this healer and hierophant, we have the 12 crystals. And actually, that's, I've been trying to collect the Synergy 12 crystals. I've gotten new ones and I did program them already. And I think I lack four more. See, these are my crystals. Some of them I purchased during this trip. There's acesulite, sausalite, and they help connect you to higher vibrations. I think there's tanzanite, petalite there. So these are the 12 crystals on the breastplate, because that's helping heal and connect to the inner aspect of the divine feminine, that sort of serves as our compass. Because that's when you feel most confused, when you lose touch with your authentic self. And sometimes that happens when there are so many external energies that are not of the same vibration that you are normally operating on as a default. Okay, other people who have no inkling as of yet that they are on an ascension journey themselves. They are vibrating at a different level than one who chooses to vibrate at a higher frequency. So if you are exposed to all that, then some recalibration has to be done. Some way to reconnect. Okay? The next card we have for the divine feminine is the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups is always a pleasure to see in a spread, because this is the wish card of the tarot. You can see here that here in her emotions is something emotional, because you can see all these lotus flowers, and they have sort of tea lights inside of them. These represent emotions, and the tea lights represent enlightenment. Okay, and the butterflies indicate transformation. And this is like Spirit is saying that your heart's desire will be granted once you find your way out of this maze, because it connects you to that divine blueprint. Okay, so this is a very welcome card to have, because the dove which is symbolic of the Holy Spirit, okay, brings peace, serenity, calm, especially after being sort of displaced by all the 3D energy. I know that makes me sound like a snob, like 3D energy. It's like, it's not meant that way. It's just, it's just a fact that people who are not conscious of their journey have a different vibration from those who are. Okay, so there. So this is a good card to have, a very welcome card in this reading. Below the Nine of Cups, wow, is this the universe's Christmas gift to us? Look at this, the Lover's card. So underneath the Nine of Cups, we have here the Lover's card. And the lovers, you can see them communing, actually touching each other, but under the umbrella of the divine, again, once more. And you can see that from the point of convergence, all these energy coming from above create a column of sparkling light that flows down into the Holy Grail. So the lovers, the twins, what they're telling me now is that we're like converters. And I know we know this even from before, because we are, some of the energy that is so high frequency, it has to pass through us in order to be converted into an energy or something understandable for those, for the others, okay? And that's it. So they're acting as a conduit, as converters, and all this energy is flowing to the Holy Grail, which is the feminine principle being received. And then you have the six-pointed star here. So that is the divine masculine, divine feminine in balance. They're juxtaposed. Well, the six-pointed star are two triangles juxtaposed, one superimposed on the other. Okay, on the right side we have the tree of good and evil, which is the apple. You know, the myth that that's why Eve lost her innocence, and was, well, the myth is that the biblical story is that they were booted out of the Garden of Eden because Eve partook of the apple despite being forbidden to partake of the fruits of it. So this is the tree of good and evil. This is the tree of life. But you see here, this is a time now when both twins come into balance. They intertwine, and they are able now to receive the divine blessings, the divine grace, because this is symbolic of the sacred marriage. And this is the wish that will be granted. Okay, so excuse me, whether that manifests in 3D, that is entirely possible if that is your wish. So again, with this wish card, be careful of what you wish for, because, you know, sometimes a lot of you, especially those who have given up on a 3D manifestation of your relationship, maybe that's what you'll get, because that's what you're wishing for. Okay? So, again, so be clear with your intent, especially when it comes to your wishes. Remember here, this energy of the Queen of Swords, that even if she has been in separation, she does not imbibe the bitterness, the resentment, but it makes her stronger. And so there. Okay, and the last card we have for the divine feminine. Wow. Okay, we have the Two of Cups. And this indicates romance, a new relationship, attraction, passion. You can see the lotus flowers here. And even sexuality as represented by these dolphins. And you can see here there's a heart behind them, coming from these joining of these two cups and a full moon. Now, this and the Lover's card are very auspicious cards, and these are good cards to have. Actually, I'm very happy that they came out, especially the last week of the year, because if we're being told that we're in transition right now, the next question that arises is that what are we transitioning to? And for the Divine Feminine, look, energetically, the Divine Masculine is getting ready. It's like he hasn't quite jumped in yet, but he knows where he's at and where he wants to go. For the Divine Feminine, this is saying, Spirit is saying, to just release all those feelings of confusion, of disconnect, of even abandonment. Because that's very rampant right now, especially during the holiday season, which is why I have the Unicorn Holiday Healing. I'll talk more about on later, but let me finish this thought first. So what this is saying is that if you get out of this maze and you find your way back to yourself, to who you are, to what the divine blueprint says, okay, then this wish card of the Lovers and the Two of Cups, then this is what we have in store after this transition. Okay, so let's look at the card here for the Divine Feminine. Okay, here we have confusion, and this is what the Divine Feminine was needing guidance about, because this is the Andromedans. It's a parallel card, which means it's a parallel to a reality. Now, the Andromedans, they are very adept at and flexible when going through changes. They do understand that change is constant, so they don't belabor the fact that things are changing, you know, despite the fact, because here what this is saying is that there is a confusion, because although all the energy reports are pointing to things changing, and a lot of Divine Feminines or even Divine Masculines are asking, then why is it still the same? It looks the same, it smells the same. If it quacks like a duck, talks like a duck, then it must be a duck. But that is one of the illusions that we are under. So because this is a parallel universe, and this is saying that you should recognize that it is still an illusion, and you have to navigate your way through that illusion in order to get to this state. It's like release the confusion, transmute it, while we are in this period of transformation. Okay? Because some people, they give up when the goal is closer than they think. And it may be, depending on where your Divine Masculine is at, where you are at in your ascension journey, because this is a reading for the collective. But that's what they told me just right now, that it's closer than what some of you think and how it appears. It may appear as though it is impossible, but then again, once you reconnect with this energy, is there anything not possible? Okay, I'm going to pick a card in the middle. Okay, this is for this week. Okay, this is the Eight of Cups, and this is an energy of, you know, leaving something behind and looking upwards to something better. So this is something that you have been emotionally familiar with, but you're setting your sights high right now, higher, and you're doing it with the grace of spirit and the playfulness of the dolphins for you to enjoy that transition. Okay, so what this is saying is both twins are in transition. They're reaching out for the star, which will be in manifested form these two cards when the wish has been granted. Okay, so right now, see, this is just still leaving the old. So this is merely confirmation that this is a transitory state. Get through this week, possibly the first few weeks of January. Remember, don't be boxed in by time. It doesn't work that way. In fact, there was a couple weeks ago, we were in a place of no time. It was a void. It's like you were, time was looping for others, for me even. But that's all part of this transition, so don't worry about that. It's like stuttering in order to get to that other first chapter. So anyway, I did say that I have an offering right now, especially to help those who are in this state of confusion. I'm sure you're seeing it on the screen right now. I have an MP3, a meditation, which contains light language also, and it's the Unicorn Holiday Healing. I've worked with the unicorns to come up with this, and it's to help heal holiday stress. The holidays are very stressful for some. For some, because they have been exposed to all these people. They have to keep up with obligations, to exchange gifts, to attend gatherings and all that. And some are also, even if they don't have all those things to go to, attend to, they are emotionally stressed because they feel that they are alone or abandoned. Or even if your mind was working on overtime and thinking that your twin was having the time of his life during the holidays and you're in separation, well, do consider this, because this helps heal the disconnect that you have with your true self. That's why this card appeared. Okay, it's to help you get out of this maze. And it helps prepare you for the year ahead. Remember, there are good things coming, but we have to be in a state of receiving it. So it's like the Grail. And these cards, the Grail is very prominent. You cannot receive if there's something else in there, whether that is confusion, that is doubt. So anyway, do consider this Unicorn Holiday Healing, and it's up on the webpage. Okay, I'm sorry this took longer than usual. I've missed you guys, and I'll be back with other videos, I hope. Okay, take care everyone. Bye.